So OKO season 10 review. There we go. That's the opening.
There you go.
Yep,
Sure.
powerful. Got
Powerful.
AsiagoBob's team.
Um,
Man,
this is it's one of the teams.
yeah, his speed
It's
tiers
an
are.
eight-man team.
I mean, I think he's got 9 out of 10. Crockler can come. I think
He
Crockler's
can
decent,
could
but
show up.
he can show up. Maltham, that guy's never coming. His speed stat
Yeah.
is. I thought it was pretty bad, and then I looked at everyone else's team, and it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
He does
But
have
I mean,
a bunch of annoying ass guys.
you're locked into boots every time, and you don't have Terra, and you have to get a quiver dance off
Oh, we're talking
first.
about Motham. I
Yeah.
just Yeah, I just ignored that guy. That guy doesn't exist. This guy's stats stink.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Yeah,
saying. But
yeah.
I
He is
mean,
lucky with boots. The rest of his team's
the
good.
the
His
rest
eight
of the team's
mons.
fine.
His eight mons, really good.
He's got 8 good mons, but the classic they all kind of do one thing problem. Like Nido King's always gonna have the same sets. Mian Shao can
Yeah.
kind of switch a little bit,
Miancho
but
has a lot of item variety.
yeah, you've got choice items, AV, both choice items even
Yeah.
AV,
Life orb.
lefties. I mean, life
Yeah.
orb,
Life orb's
regenerator,
really good.
reckless as its abilities. You've got a lot of different options, but big physical mon with fighting moves. So and U
Say
turn.
say
We
Nido King is kind of locked into like life orb or scarf. Like he could be specs, but it's not great. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to run specs over life orb in my
yeah.
opinion. The ranges just aren't there, but um,
Say also offensive is not terrible either.
yeah.
Let me see what his. I don't even know what Nido King's move pool is on the physical side.
Oh, I mean, there's options,
Yeah, yeah.
but none
Um,
that use sheer force more than
yeah. Special. He has the
special side of it.
punches,
Yeah.
punches, poison jab, rock slide, shadow. Or no, not shadow claw. Yeah, his options for physical aren't great, but if he needs it, he can.
Yeah, it's usable, um, but I feel like just because of the I feel like it would be one of those where it surprises like one time.
Yeah. Let's see.
Um,
With Galvantula, kind of. If he did have Galvantula, his team would be much worse.
oh yeah, significantly. Having the webs there is definitely kind of necessary for this team with how middling the speed is.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it
but
also
the
helps,
fact
like,
that
me and Shao control the speed better, too.
yeah,
Because, like, there's some teams where, like, they're kind of, like, slightly faster than me and Shao, but then he just gets to outspeed them because they're most likely not going to run boots because stuff like. We'll go to Vinny's team because he has, like, Raichu and Infradape. They now get outsped.
yeah,
Prim.
yeah.
That Prim got
Prim
busted. That's a broken mon.
Prim's crazy. Prim's really crazy in this low tier. Um, and then Fortress having access to Terra. I think Fortress is if you don't have Terra on the thing,
It's still
bad.
decent.
Garbo, get rid
I
of it.
think it's decent without Terra.
I mean, I think it's fine without Terra if you have a team to support it, but that's too much to put into something that's just a fortress. But it having Terra in low
Yeah.
tier, it's going to make it
A lot better.
a little stronger.
Yeah.
It's
Because,
probably going to get brought every time.
I mean, I could kind of predict what monsters is going to bring every time. It's going to be like these first three Sarah Ledge, me and
Terra,
Shao, and then
one of the
like,
other two big boys,
yeah,
yeah,
like one of his other.
Reggie or
I think like Nido King might get brought every time.
yeah,
Like there's some mods you can flip around.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I have to get up a dock. I forgot we're tiering them.
We are tearing him.
That's like the whole point of this.
Yeah. He has no ghost resist though, which makes Saraledge in a sticky situation. You bring a Saraledge in, you probably get a kill, and then someone hits a Specs ghost move on you.
Yeah, his ghost. He has not having a ghost resist or ghost immune is crazy. Also, being super weak to psychic is like
Yeah,
that's
that's
super detrimental.
yeah, that's another big one. Especially if Fortress is gonna Terra out of the being the only resist,
And he only has one
depending on the
ground immune.
Terras.
He also only has one ground immune, which is Weezing because
Yeah.
Motham's never coming. That's fake.
Motham does not exist, yeah.
So he has
And then also no flying resist, and your 2 water resists being Prim, which is a good one.
That's your only
And
one. I guess
and
Drago
technically
too,
Drago. Yeah, Drago's got 200 HP, but like physical resist, like you get a, I look at this team into like Dondozo, and I'm
yeah.
chilling.
I'll say
Dondozo just kind of sits in front of most of these guys. So
outside of Nidoking and
Nido
the
King,
special
Galvantula,
attackers.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say his
But
physical
like
defense is 2 dudes that don't have recovery. They both have pain
that
split.
are both ground weak as well.
Weezing has levitate, so what's his Spadef?
Yeah, but I mean, wheezing into Dondozo, I feel like doesn't do enough.
His Spadef stats also awful. He has Prim and then Ceruledge, and then after that it's weak as hell.
Yeah, so it's got weaknesses. I would put it in the middle of the pack for sure.
I think we put it tier 2 now. I can see it probably going lower, but I think tier 2 is probably fine.
I think everything else that'll go into tier 2 will be above him. So
because like I think just him not having access to a good special wall. So like he's playing hyper offense because that's the only thing you got.
It's all you can do, but again, makes his team very one note, very kind of predictable. So which makes a hyper offense tougher. So we'll see.
Especially when you're bringing an 8-mon team.
Yeah,
it's at least week 1, people don't know your sets, but then like you get like 5 weeks down the line, people are gonna know what you're bringing because you brought the same shit every week. So it makes it easier to prep for.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
and there's just a couple holes in the team that are pretty easy to exploit as well. So.
Yeah. All right,
it'll probably be bottom of tier 2, maybe top of tier
3. Yeah. Okay, we go to Vinny's now.
This
guy has super duper weaknesses.
He's weak to a lot.
Say speed stats at least good.
True. He's got a lot of higher speed mons.
Yeah. It's like I'm kind of like the Ghost and Dark Week on Ghastly don't really matter. That guy folds to anything anyways. So like he has a bunch of extra weaknesses he doesn't need because he has Ghastly and Knackle Stack, which
and those ones won't be on there, but
yeah, they're Terra. But I think neither of those guys will Terra if Raichu's there.
Raichu's, and I think Raichu's coming a decent amount of times because it's your fastest mon. It's got electric move. It's with Terra, it's got some decent sets. So
yeah, I don't know what this Kingdra guy's doing. Because like everything he does kind of overlaps with like Hydrapple, Infernape, Articuno, Raichu. His Dribblum guy's crazy. How many points is this? 07?
Yeah.
Why isn't this his Terra?
Because Raichu. There was 6 points he could Terra both.
I know,
yeah,
but I'm saying
Raichu. I feel like
doesn't need it as much.
He doesn't need it, but it makes it more helpful.
I'll say Dribblum, if he has Terra, he can just start calm minding and like having. Is it Keyberry? Is Keyberry the +1 defense? Yeah, Keyberry.
Yeah, Calm Mind, Keyberry. It's got Strength Step too for some.
So he can get out of hand really fast.
Yeah. I think. I mean, his team's fine. Like if you remove the 2 mons that are probably never coming, the Ghastly and Knackle Stack.
I was gonna say Ghastly and Root Bonnet. That guy stinks.
Yeah, Root Bonnet sucks too, but.
Yeah, it has booster release, so you can at least like have a defensive set. But
yeah, I think it'll get brought at some point, especially because like Spore.
Yeah.
But it's still there's a lot of there's like same thing, Ghost weakness. You've got Dragon weakness. You've got Knockoff is pretty easy to hit into this team. Your only Fairy resist being Rivervroom, who takes the hit really well and probably revenge kills, but. And Rivervroom being 4 times weak to ground, which almost everything gets access to. There's
random Mud Shot or Bulldoze, Earthquake.
Yeah, and there's no mons on this team that like do like a big hit besides kind of Kingdra with like specs moves, but doesn't have a lot of wall breaking potential on the team.
I'll say Infernape is okay because he has a lot of like high base power, but his attack stat is terrible.
Yeah,
104 is not great.
it's not enough to wall break.
Yeah.
It's enough like once you get stuff chipped down, which he can kind of do with certain like regenerator hydrapple into like a knuckle stack. Like he can kind of keep switching around to enable Infernape, but um, Infernape itself is just not enough to like break.
Yeah.
And so having Cleavor to put some rocks up and get some chip in pretty easily is nice as well. There's a lot of good stuff about the team, but like I think a big issue is having Hydrapple and not having a good ice type move switch in.
Yeah, that is true. His ice type switching is Reverum and Infernape.
Yeah, and that's something that I noticed with a bunch of teams this season is there's a lot of ice weaknesses, but there's also not a lot of good ice mons to pick up, so it's probably not going to be too negligible, especially because there's not a lot of like I think there's one ice Terra um, that's technically relevant, and then the other ones are like never coming. So
I don't think there's any. I don't think anyone has a good like. There's Avalug, and that's like it.
Crab, Crab is the only like relatively relevant one.
Oh yeah,
Crabominable.
yeah.
You could ice type big hit something, and then it's really hard, and you get rid of your fighting
Yeah.
weakness. And but other than that, no one else has like ice type stuff. So I think that means it'll be okay-ish, unless someone makes some trades to exploit that. So, but yeah, and then your two ground type immunities aren't both being weak to ghost again is
Yeah, and they don't
tough,
like knock either. So
and they both don't like knock.
literally
So
all of
yeah,
his ground immune guys don't like knock or ghost.
yeah. Yeah, and then the same thing. I mean, Infernape can do a little bit of both sides. You've got physical and special moves. Cleavor usually does the same thing. Hydrapla usually does the same thing. Kingdra's usually always specs. Revivroom's always going to try to hit the same move. Articuno's always going to set up. Driftbloom's got some crazy sets that you can kind of
Yeah,
do.
he's
Then,
pretty versatile.
yeah.
I think
So I think
Raichu's
as
really good too.
Raichu's same thing. Raichu can kind of do both. You could do physical and special stuff.
Yeah, I think at least he gets extreme speed in that dex.
Yeah.
So
So you've got options with Raichu, and so I think having it be your Terramon is going to be where a lot of the games are going to be make or break. Hydrapple too with the whether or not you get those fickle beam hits, which we kind of saw in week 1. So.
Yeah.
And then having Articuno to prevent defog is another big one with Cleavor on the team. Yeah. Which makes hitting defog kind of a hard decision to have to do if you see it on the team. So it's got options. I think you get a good wall breaker on this team, or you can get another like swap Brute Bonnet for like another kind of tankier pivot mon to lean more into that like weaken them all so Infernape can break. And then you've got a pretty strong team.
Yeah, there's like nothing in 11 that he can replace it with. It's like
because I mean Spadef is kind of something he needs.
So he could do like Decidueye or Pheasantipede, but like I don't know if either of those guys even fit on. No, never mind. Decidueye definitely doesn't fit on the team, but
yeah,
it's just tough. Like it's just.
I mean, I feel like you just throw Blissey on this team, and it's cringe, but having a special like that switches into ice types easily. It's the special wall that he kind of needs. It's a lot of HP, which he kind of could use. It's a ghost resist. Like
it does have teleport too, so
it has slow turn. It has teleport. It has rocks when you need it. Like it's cringe, but it would be really good on the team.
Yeah.
Free up some points. Lets you switch some Terras around. You could get rid of your Knuckle stack and your Ghastly and pick up a 6-point mon that can Terra.
I also think that like even like Reverum, I think Reverum and Kingdra can like overlap because Kingdra does sometimes do D-Dance.
True.
Like I was not even like Kingdra on this because like a lot of his mons are just low base stats and then just high base power moves.
Yeah.
Because like Infernape has Swords Dance and Nasty Plot, so he can kind of hit both sides pretty easily. But then he's like clicking overheat, fire blast, which can miss, and then focus blast, which is most likely gonna miss.
Yeah.
And then you're clicking close combat and some other dog shit move that you.
Yeah. And same thing, King Druid kind of overlapping with Hydrapple is another one where I'm like,
Yeah.
does that make it worth 13 points? Is there a 13-point mon you could pick up that's better? Probably.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm also not the biggest fan of River Room.
yeah, River Room kind of needs support, and like we kind of said, not having that like good like guaranteed switch in and having all of the switching around you want to do doesn't really work well with a mon that wants to switch into fairy types and then set up or hit a big move.
Yeah. So he can definitely just swap Kingdra, Reverum, and Brute Bonnet for a lot of better guys. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
38 points to move stuff around.
Improve the team.
And like he doesn't even have to pick up 3 mons. He just picks up 2 because he has 11 guys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think Kingdra isn't of those 3. Kingdra's the last one I would swap. I would swap probably Brute Bonnet first, and then Reverroom, and then Kingdra. Just because having the water type move, you do kind of want a good water type.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of good water types left. In terms of the price range for the points that he wants.
We'll get to that later. We'll give tips probably towards the end.
But I would say, I mean, middle of tier 2 is probably where I'd put this team. I don't know. I'm looking at it, and
I think it's worse than Bob's.
I think it's worse than Bob's, but
more well structured.
Yeah, this one doesn't seem like it has an identity, and it's got more holes in it.
Yeah,
but it has some interesting ideas. So yeah, maybe worse than Bob's.
All right, now we got Hassan's. We saw this
cringe.
This cringe shit in action today.
Cringe. It's cringe. Put it at the lowest tier, just because of its cringe.
I don't think it's that low, but I think it's.
Yeah, it's not. It's. Yeah. I mean, it's a fine theme. It's got 2 big offensive guys and a camera up, and then a bunch of.
This is like the most not well. Like it's the most like compact.
Yeah, his weaknesses are. It's he's got probably the least amount, but a couple of 4 times weaknesses make it tougher as well.
Yeah, being weak to flying is tough, and then also being weak to fighting is also tough.
And then same thing as usual, big psychic weakness gap.
Yeah, it's just he has 1 resist. That is Terra Steel or type null.
Yes, so then technically 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good team that like it's cringe, but it's got a lot of bulk with the team.
So like his stats don't really he doesn't really leave much to that he like needs, because like he has like obviously he probably has one of the bigger speed gaps of 125 to 87.
Not the biggest though. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean I think his is bigger than Lily's.
Is it?
I think 125 to 87 is 38. 100 to 35. So yeah, he has the biggest speed gap so far.
True. But I mean, Hitmonlee's got Unburdened, so
yeah, it can. Yeah, as long as you close combat something. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Hitmonlee. I've used it like all the sets you need to run. It's just they don't work well enough.
Yeah, it's a mon that needs help, but I mean, having it on a team with Bulu means you can kind of get some Grassy Seed Unburden action.
Grassy Seed instead of having to use close combat or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just bulky cringe. I think it's probably the best of what we've seen so far. There's not many tips we can give, or like there's not that many holes in it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does what it needs to do. Swallow has options on both sides with Boom Burst and Guts. Yeah. Magneton hits big with Analytic.
Yeah, Analytic is so strong.
Yeah, his only switch into it being I shouldn't say only. Tapu Bulu and Magneton is a really good pairing to have too on the team.
Yeah,
and I feel like all these mons can come. So like,
yeah, you can't leave anything off the table.
Yeah,
like you can even bring physical camera up too, because like Flare Blitz gets boosted by sheer force.
Yeah.
So he just has a really strong fire move that doesn't miss either.
I mean, he gets Trick Room, and this team is even crazier.
I don't think any of these guys get Trick Room, but
Yeah, they don't. But if he gets it,
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Trick Room. I don't think it makes it that much better.
I think some of the mons definitely could be though.
I mean, yeah, obviously camera up would be way better if he has Trick Room.
Yeah, late game Trick Room though, with like Avalob too, with its 100 attack is possible. But regardless, I'm trying to debate whether it's top of tier 2 or bottom of tier 1. It's cringe, which makes you not want to put it in tier 1, but
I mean, I think we can put it in top of tier 2 for now, because I think it could end up there.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's lower than that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, now we're on to Kang. Get the timestamp down. Oh my god, this team stinks.
This team's brutal.
He did not use the free trades well. He used them kind of well. He made his team a bit better. This used to be 7 guys weak to poison.
Yeah, and now it's still only 1 poison immunity.
Yeah.
So, that whole middle band of poison ground fighting is
everyone's gonna have a good fighting type and a good ground type.
Yeah, and a good ground type. Ground types are very common in this, or things that have earthquake at least.
Like he didn't pick up a good partner for Lilligant to like be able to break stuff better.
Yeah, Lilligant gets.
He's just nothing. Like there's nothing there to help Lilligant break dragon. Like granted, Lilligant does get ice moves for dragons and grass types, but you can't really break fairies at all, and he doesn't have a good fairy hitter. Like he has 2 dragons that don't help. He has a steel type that could help, but this guy's attack stat's awful.
Yeah, and like not having something super effective to hit ghost types. Like you have a shadow ball. Yeah. You have some.
Yeah, I didn't realize his ghost switch-ins are terrible.
Yeah, his ghost switch-ins are terrible, and it's knockoff is just super good under this team, and because a lot of these guys not need their items, but their items are a big part.
Yeah.
Like Barraskewda doesn't need it, but choice band on him.
Yeah, choice band makes him so much scarier.
It makes him so, and so not having that on. Ninetales without Heat Rock is 3 whole turns, assuming the battle goes on that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. There's some good ideas, but like I think get rid of Heliolisk first of all. I don't know why that guy's on this team.
He gets boosted. He gets solar power, which gets boosted damage in the sun.
No. I know why he's on the team, but like you have Heliolisk and Lantern on the same team. I feel like you really don't need both. You get rid of one or the other, and I feel like personally Lantern's better, especially with it having access to Terra.
Yeah, that's true.
Terra with Volt Absorb and Water Absorb, like it's got so much variation.
I think he was in Gen 9, so I think he gets Terra Blast too. Yeah, he does. So he gets good coverage.
Yeah.
Like he could get better coverage.
Yeah, and so he's really good on this team in terms of like being able to switch in, and it's your highest base HP by far.
Yeah,
I think Executor, same thing. I think Executor is pretty good on this team, especially at 7 points.
I would have liked he had Sesui and Decidueye here on this team first. I would have liked Decidueye over Executor.
I mean, Decidueye with Lilligant too. I feel like you don't want both.
But like one of them, Decidueye is going to be Terra, so he can at least like fix his weaknesses to some stuff. But I also think with how bad this team, like how bad these mons are, a Scarf Decidueye is at least good into a lot of teams.
I agree, but I feel like if you're gonna do that, abandon the sun part of it.
I don't think he should have sun. He needs to stop. He's only drafted weather every time he's been in the league, and it's not good because it's too hard to run when you're new at the game.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like I like Hat.
Definitely one of the worst teams.
I think it is the worst team.
Yeah,
he has a 9-mon team with a fuck ton of holes.
Yeah, with a lot of holes in it. And like your special attackers are slow, slow with Ninetales, or you have just Heliolisk who gets like just like electric moves.
He gets electric, normal, will surf.
Yeah, so coverage. And then the rest of them being like no speed is
Yeah.
tough. You kind of need a fast guy. Ninetales is fine because it's got weather set, but again, you're locking yourself into bringing Ninetales every time, and then
Yeah.
you probably also have to bring Lilligant every time. And
I think he could probably drop Lilligant if he wants to keep the Sun, because I think Ninetales on its own, if it's just choice specs, can break teams pretty well. I just think
yeah,
Lilligant kind of need to do a whole lot, and his team does not benefit having Lilligant on the team. Like, he does have the fastest mon in the game, or on this list at least,
yeah,
when it's in Sun, outside of Barraskewda and Rain. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Lilligant's got its spot. I think, um, you know, with this team, you've got decent bulk in the back, and then so if you can get some chip in, you can bring in Ninetales to break something, and then once Ninetales dies, you bring in like a. Granted, I don't think Banded Lilligant's good, but you could bring in a Banded Lilligant and then just start
yeah,
clicking buttons into the team.
I say its coverage
Um,
is okay enough.
yeah, it's got enough coverage to
I,
deal with a
I
lot of
say I
stuff.
think Band is probably better than just running Victory Dance, because like they're almost guaranteed to bring in something that's gonna stop you from setting up if they prepped right.
Exactly.
Because like I
Um,
fought him and I prepped T Wave and Encore for it. So if he set up, then I just Encored him to set up and then killed him.
yeah. Yeah, it's I mean it's got holes. I think it's fixable. I think it's a
Yeah.
team that's fixable.
He unfortunately only
But
has 4 trades though, so he only has 4 trades
yeah,
to try to fix it.
I
Which,
think that's
yeah, it's not
doable
terrible.
if you just get rid of Sun.
Yeah, you get rid of Ninetales, you get rid of probably Heliolisk and find some better guys. I think he can probably drop Lilligant too if he's dropping Ninetales, and that opens up a lot of points.
Yeah.
And then you just find a
You've
couple
got
guys that fit on the team better.
yeah. And I think there's definitely good options that you could pick up just getting glancing at the list, but we can get there when we
Yeah,
do
we'll
trades
do
and stuff.
we'll do
Yeah.
suggestions at the
Definitely
end.
definitely tier 3. I don't know if it's bad enough for me to say to put in tier 4.
I mean, we'll put it in tier 3 for
I
now, but as I
if
said, I think
yeah,
it's the worst team in the league.
I so far I think I can agree. I think it has its merits. Like it has options. But
Yeah, it's just they're too tough
yeah.
to have.
I think the only reason I don't want to put it in tier 4 is because it's fixable. Because it's like you just get rid of a couple mons for some good ones, and then it
Yeah.
immediately moves up to like an easily tier 2 team. Um, but
All right,
let's see,
we're going on to shrimp now.
shrimp. I like this team.
Oh, I do
There's
too.
a lot of stuff on this team that I really enjoy seeing.
Yeah, especially
Uh,
with their first this is their first draft league. They drafted
yeah,
really well. Like they have great speed
it's
stats. Like I'm pretty sure they're good on both defenses too. Yeah, they got a good bunch of good defense guys. Special attack's good. Physical attack is good.
yep.
A bunch of like Kobalion's a really good mon. I used to hate on it because it's like, well, it's just 90, but yeah, it's gonna do its job of clicking stealth rocking, close combating something for 40, and getting chipped for whatever else is coming in afterwards.
Yeah, yep. I agree. I think the only thing I would do looking at this team is like Scorch doesn't feel like he has a
Oh,
good identity on this team.
he has no place to be on this team. Like I love
Yeah,
Scorch, but he definitely does not need to be here.
yeah. On this team, you've got so many other options to deal with any threats that Scorch would deal with that you just kind of don't need him.
Yeah.
Having like Tangrowth and Typhlosion is sweet. Being able to do basically any job you'd want Scorch doing.
Yeah.
So I think the only reason is having a flash farm on, but you don't have any weaknesses really to fire that you'd want it
Yeah,
for, and so yeah,
you
just
cook fire guys.
yeah. So you really don't need it. I think that would be one thing I would want to swap.
I think that's the only thing you do swap. I think the rest of his team's fine. Like
Yeah,
I don't like Mantine for a newer player because it's such a like linear mon to where it's hard to use because you can't just be it's resisted or whatever, and then you have to deal with like random thunder like electric coverage. So I think it's hard
yeah,
to use for him because he ran as what toxic protect scald.
yeah,
It's like it's not the best set. Like Mantine can be a very annoying mon if you know how to use it properly. But if you don't know how to use it properly, it's really easy to deal with because it's like his offensive stats just aren't there.
yeah, yep. And it being Granted, it's probably never going to come up because there's not that many freeze dry mons,
Yeah.
but you're only switching to electric moves. Being Flygon, who gets cooked by freeze dry, means like into Mantine, you can just click freeze dry and
Yeah, he has
hit
2
most of this
resists,
team.
but like even Tangrowth doesn't like taking a strong electric move unless it's like AV.
Yeah,
And like neither does
and
Boltund.
and there's a good amount of strong electric moves
Yeah.
that I've seen, or strong electric mons in the list right now. So
I say he just
I
fought
think
Kilowattrel, which Tangrowth didn't
was
come.
probably the best one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yep.
Kilowattrel cooked. If he has in front of Mantine, he just clicks electric move and then he goes Tangrowth and then Tangrowth gets air slashed and dies.
Yeah.
Or even Hurricaned.
Yeah. And I was gonna say Hurricane hits a lot of the team as well. Another big flying weak team. But
I also got to give a shout out to Kangaskhan. That guy did some work.
One of the best 2-pointers. Definitely,
Probably
for sure.
the best 2-pointer. I probably shouldn't have put him down there. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, he's got some poop ass stats. You can just leave him down there, and then just click Terranorm with double edge and kill whatever's in front of you.
Yeah.
And he can even do like fake out last resort. Granted, it's not the best set. It's funny, so like it's an option. And he's just clicking a stronger normal move.
Yeah. But it's not like crazy.
So what does he have? Oh, he does have multiple defoggers.
Yeah, he's got a couple.
His hazards are fine.
I mean, Flygon's not gonna want to run defog.
Oh yeah,
that's one of your offensive
ones.
Yeah. But Mantine being able to defog is good, and then Comfey being able to defog is also nice. So
yeah, his defog guys like Mantine likes running it, but he'd rather not most of the time because he has other shit he wants to do.
Now that we're going through all the lists, though, having a mon that has competitive is very valuable. Cause it seems like defog is much more prevalent than spin. So.
Yeah. So yeah, Boltund having competitive is strong.
Yep.
I think it's the best team we've looked at. Might be weaker than Hassan's.
I think it's weaker than Hassan's. Like if I put the two teams against each other, I feel like Hassan wins just because. Yeah. Same thing. This team is really good, but I don't see a breaker on the team.
Yeah, you need like Specs, Typhlosion, or like a banded Boltund to like do stuff. Like Kangaskhan was doing a fine job at breaking.
Yeah. The only thing.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say is if you have like a good steel type and he doesn't bring Earthquake, then that steel type is gonna sit on Kangaskhan the whole time.
Yep. I think a lot of the time when I look at this team, the top 6 mons seem to be the ones not coming every time, but like the ones you're gonna want. Yeah. And so I think Typhlosion is definitely the best mon on this list, or on this team specifically. With the teams we've looked at too, like you said, just hitting like Specs Shadow Ball into anything is gonna make it really hard for people to deal with.
Even like Specs Eruption too. Like most teams don't have great fire switch-ins, and even then, if they do, they're not gonna like taking a Specs Eruption.
Yeah, and his team's really fast now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's got a lot going.
He has like the best speed stats.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like decent switch-ins. I think you get rid of Centiscorch, and this team is tier 1 for sure.
I think find Centiscorch and then pick up pretty much whatever the fuck else is in that tier.
Yeah, pretty much anything, doesn't really matter. But I think the team's good. I
agree.
I think it could be the first tier 1 team. I'd be fine with it being low tier 1 because I think it does the same thing. It does have some improvements that could be made.
Yeah.
But it's a threatening team.
I will say if we're putting him in tier 1, I think we need to move Hassan up to tier 1.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think moving both up to tier 1. I don't know. I'm going back and forth now on him versus Hassan's team, and I think Hassan's team does have some holes in it that are more holes than this one.
I mean, as long as you have a good breaker, you can punch through Hassan's team pretty easily.
Yeah. Whereas when I look at Shrimp,
you cut out.
When I look at Shrimp's team, I'm just like, what's the weakness? Like, what's the big?
Yeah.
What's the way to break through his team? And I don't see much at first glance. So.
We'll put it. Oh, I didn't mean to delete his. We'll put Shrimp first because I do like Shrimp's overall team more. Like Hassan is gonna be forced to run the same stuff. So like further down the line, he's can't really like change stuff up more.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like Shrimp has like different sets
Yeah,
on different mons that you could like Azelf having a couple sets, Tangrowth being able to be tanky, or like, Banded and
yeah,
Typhlosion being a fast mon that hits a lot of mons on the list we've seen so far.
and has
Flygon having dance sets and also being like supportive with the defog.
and he has rocks.
Yeah. The only thing I think that you would want to change with this team, especially if we're talking about getting rid of Central Scourge, your only knockoffer being Comfey is crazy.
You have Tangrowth and Azelf.
And Tangrowth. Oh, Azelf gets knockoff?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Tangrowth though. Tangrowth, yeah.
I
See,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if Kangaskhan gets it, but
Be crazy.
it just not get knock off.
Yeah. So then, I mean, but having Tangrowth, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
There's just not a lot of holes in the team. I think it's better than Hassan's team because Hassan's team's just more one note. So
yeah. All right, it's now for me. Time for me to sit back and get glazed.
So it's a lot of weaknesses on the team. I'm not gonna lie.
Perfect team.
I mean, it's got Cackney on it,
that's my goat.
which is good. I don't know. It's got a good core. I love Silvally. Silvally's a good mon
Yeah,
on
I'm
the team.
busted.
It's crazy. It's super good. It's so hard to prep against. You can bring so much, and it fills a lot of holes in the team, which I will admit there's definitely some holes in the team. Petron is carrying a lot of work. I won't lie.
That's why I drafted him.
Crook is same thing. Crook and Petron as a combo too are pretty crazy. But I do also see some months where I'm like, do they need to be there? Does Terra Lipard need to be there?
Yes, because I like having Prankster T-Wave for my pretty bad speed tier.
But like, that's your Terra slot is my point.
Who else am I gonna Terra? I Terra Cloft. I can't Terra Quagsire.
But that's what I'm saying is like one of the weak. I'm not saying pick a different guy to Terra on your team. I'm saying having Cloth be your only Terra threat makes the team a little slightly more predictable. I mean, Silvally is kind of Terra because you can change its type to whatever you need on mid game or mid set even. I think you just got some good mounts. A little attack heavy. You don't have a lot of
my teams.
Yeah,
your special this shit.
Your special mons are Sigilif and Petrant.
Silvally's right there.
Yeah, you're gonna run special Silvally with multi attack.
Yeah, fuck around and drop a Drake on your dumbass.
I mean, yeah, sure. You do have that.
Yep. Just wait till I drop this low kicks guy.
I was gonna say you pick up a good special mon for low kicks, and I really like this team a lot more.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of low kicks so far, so he's probably gonna get the boot.
I would with your team, I would use him a little more just to check.
Yeah, I was gonna use him next week, and if I don't bring him in scrims or don't like him in scrims, I'm probably gonna drop him. Yeah, because I did like him in this week's scrims, and if I don't like him in next week's scrims either, I'm probably not.
I was gonna say I'll be honest against my team. There's a couple mons that I can bring into it, so there's a good chance you'll probably be dropping it. But yeah, I mean I like it. I don't know if I think it's the best team in the league.
Oh, it's definitely not. I definitely didn't draft it to be the best team in the league.
I don't even know if I want to put it in tier 1 because like
I don't think it's tier 1 either.
It could be top of tier 2. I think it's better than the other tier 2 teams we've seen.
I look at this
in some ways.
I look at this fighting at Ice Week. Yow! Being weak
to
bug is insane. I get turned on and then I cry.
You get you turned on. The fighting weakness is kind of not mitigated, but most fighting types, especially in low tier, are all going to be physical. And so having Petron as a switch in is like
I also
not free, but pretty much free. And then you get a really big hit because again, we've established Ghost type is pretty strong so far.
I also forgot 3 of my fighting weaknesses are all Terra basically, so it's not a real fighting weakness.
One doesn't exist. I don't think. I mean, if you're bringing Terra Lipard, then yeah. But I feel like most of the time you're probably bringing Cloth
Yeah, if
Terra
Cloth is there,
instead.
he's gonna be Terra. But
Yeah. But it also Cloth Terra, and then so Crook being your only one, and Crook having the option to intimidate
yeah,
I don't know if you're gonna be intimidating all the time, but having that option means
hey, I'll fuck around.
you're not.
I'll fuck around being a max defense set with Intimidate. That shit cooks.
Hey, hell yeah.
That shit's heat.
But
See,
I think you don't your fire weakness is kind of fake. Fairy weakness
Yeah.
is a little real. You do have your three powerful physical attackers are all weak to
yes.
fairy.
Yep.
And your fairy switch in being Petulant means you also just get psychic moved right after.
I got Tinkaton.
Okay, and Tinkaton as well, yes.
I click Giga the Hammer and that guy disappears.
Yeah.
I think there's also
But again, another physical mon. You got a lot of physical mons, which I know you said is your teams usually, but it's a lot of physical mons. I bring a high defensive guy. And
Tinkaton is my second lowest physical attack stat.
And he's one of your biggest mon. That's crazy.
Big Cac. Y'all underestimate Big Cac.
Sure.
Big Cackney gonna cook somebody up.
Cackney's got a higher physical stat than Tinkaton.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's Big Cac right there.
Yeah. Shame I could just press U-turn and I'm always faster because you have 35 speed.
Yep. And then I hit whatever the fuck you bring in for 30 to 40. Cooked.
And then you die.
Nope. I'm Eviolite. I live.
Oh yeah, 60 defense with the 50 base HP. I don't know.
It's actually 40 defense. Get your facts right.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I think it's worse than Bob's team. I think I look at Bob's team.
I think it's worse than Vinny's and Bob's.
Think it's worse than Vinny's? Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that. I would say so. Vinny's is redeemable too. I think your team is also redeemable.
Yeah, I have to make a bunch of trades that I don't want to. So
yeah, definitely better than Puck's. I think it could go either way, being worse than Vinny's team, because I feel like Vinny's team has very glaring weaknesses, and I feel like your team's weaknesses are a little less glaring. So I would put your team above Vinny's personally, but because you've got good options. Like you've got wall breakers, you've got
that's fair.
Support mons, you've got switch ins. Whereas Vinny's team, like I said, those are a lot less prevalent. So you hop.
You hop.
Tyler the pancake guy.
I'm a pancake man.
Yeah. All right, Obese's team.
Let me get the timestamp real quick. 42:45. All right. Now on to Obese.
He's got a team. That's for sure.
He sure do got a team. He got 12 guys on this bitch.
He's got 12 guys, and I could see all of them coming.
Oh yeah, because he does whatever, but we can't. I mean, I could see if it wasn't him, I could see this Parasite guy riding the fucking bench.
Yeah, but I know because it's him. He's bringing that guy. Yeah, it's a decent team. You've got fast guys. You've got a lot of physical attackers. You've got an okay special attacker. You have BM. You have Starmie. You have Sceptile. It seems, again, I look at it and like there's no one thing about the team that I think is really good. It seems more like a toolbox team of he just has so many options that it's going to be hard to prep against.
Yeah.
Because like you'll prep for him bringing, Ensign's really good against your team, so you'll prep for like Ensign Primeape, and then he's just going to bring out like a team of all special guys or like, support guys, or, Golisopod will come and you won't expect it. Like he's got so many options on his team. That it makes it tough. And again, because of all those options, there's no like big glaring weakness that I see with the team. There's not like a too slow aspect of the team, or not enough physical attack, or not enough special.
I found one aspect immediately. He got no SPDF over 100.
True. Okay, no big special switch-ins,
but he did bring Max SPDF AV Drampa. Was his answer to that, which is not great because Drampa was doing like 30 max.
I mean,
And you got
I
your highest,
mean,
you got your second highest special attack guy coming in to take 30 and to do maybe 30.
Ensign's a decent special switch into.
Yeah, AV Ensign's good. I think it's better
AV
than Max
Ensign.
Spadef fucking Drampa.
I wholeheartedly agree. Especially having intimidate means you could, have both resists kind of covered.
Yeah,
Um, makes it really, really tanky, really hard to get rid of. If there was like a wish support on the team too, it would make it super, super scary as like a core.
yeah. I mean, Vaporeon's still there, so he can if he wants to pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah, a bulky water type definitely would also be a good option on the team. Besides the special defense weakness, then.
Yeah, I mean you're usually running Max Spadef anyways because your HP stat's just that good.
Yeah,
HP matters
exactly.
more than your defense stat does. Like Corviknight's shown that he's bulkier than Skarmory.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a good team. Like it's an obese team, so
yeah,
it's not going to be a tier 1 team.
nope.
We're going just based off of the
I
team.
also don't think it's tier 3 because like I think
Yeah. Oh, it's tier 2 for sure.
yeah, I think it might be. I think mine and Bob's are better. I think it's better than Vinny's.
Yeah, because I feel like with this team, if you give it to anyone else, like you give this to anyone else in the league, and it's going to be a tier 3 team.
No, well. I cook.
True. Okay, well maybe not anyone else, but most people.
Yeah.
It's just a tough team to pilot, but
yeah.
It's a solid team. Like I said, it's a big toolbox team. You've just got so many options.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think that's a good spot to put it at.
Next time we got Lily next. Holy moly.
Goat team. This team's crazy.
Okay. Lily. Holy shit, she has no fucking fighting. No fighting switches besides one dude.
Besides Justine. Yeah. That's a problem. But the one fighting switch in that she does have is a ghost type, basically, because it's the Terramon. And the other fighting weakness is Vulpix, which is not going to be coming that often.
Vulpix doesn't matter. Yeah. It's like my Cacnea weaknesses. The weaknesses don't matter.
Yeah. I like the team. I'm biased because I helped with it, but there's a lot of options.
It's good enough, but there's a lot of things she could change to fix it. Like,
yes, I feel like
these first 7 guys are really good as a team. Like she could switch this guy out and get something probably a bit faster, but this is a good special attack stat. Actually,
yeah.
There's this guy. Oh, I know she loves Frostmoth, but that guy sucks.
Yeah, I think Frostmoth is definitely tradable.
I think she can get rid of both these ice types and get a 9-pointer and be fine.
Yeah, but it's hard to want to get rid of Frostmoth.
I think she got some of the better Terra guys. Because I do think Quilladin and Machoke are both really good with Terra.
I think Probopass is sleeper with Terra as well. That thing can wall a lot of stuff. So.
Yes,
and
agree.
Being able to magnet pull and then Terra is scary. So yeah, I agree. I think her Terramons are really good. I think Typhlosion is a good mon as well in
I agree.
this league. I think Staraptor, same thing. Staraptor holds a lot of. Good. And then Serp, if you don't have enough stuff to deal with Serp, it can be scary, especially being able to run support sets with Glare and Leech Seed or offensive sets with Subleaf Storms. And it being so fast. The big speed drop off is tough. Like you said, picking up a fast.
Second high speed drop off.
35 is a big drop off, but Muck is a good special defensive switch in kind of wall.
The best fat guys.
Yeah, best fat guys. Pretty fast offensive mons, a fast offensive special, a fast offensive physical, a fast offensive support, setup. A lot of good options. I agree. I think Frostmoth is holding the team back a decent amount.
Yeah, she just picked up another 9-pointer. That's better.
Yeah, but every other mon I feel like it's can show up and can put in some
think
even Quilladin.
You could replace Ampharos with something better.
Yeah,
because that guy's super slow.
Slow and kind of bulky-ish.
Yeah.
The 165 is a lot of special attack, and
but its coverage is so terrible.
The coverage is the big problem. Is you just really have stab moves, and that's kind of hard to deal with. Um, but I think it's a solid team. Like again, I don't think the fighting type weakness is not technically a big issue with.
Yeah. I mean,
You
even
don't
if
have
you like, yeah, her one quad weak has Ghost, and then she has,
yeah
but then she only has one. If she doesn't bring Probo Pass, she has one switch in. And
yeah
if she doesn't
which
bring
is
Enam, she has no switch ins.
yeah. So it makes it a little more predictable.
Yeah, it's just
But again, you have so many like bulk options as well. Like
yeah.
yeah, those are your only switch-ins for it, but Pro Pass probably is going to be coming if there's any fighting type on the enemy team because you just Terra Ghost and fighting type is no longer a problem.
Iron Press. So
Yeah. Iron Press, you same thing. Magnet Pull is just such a strong ability for like counterplay. Um, yeah, I think the team's solid. I mean, especially being able to run Intimidate on Staraptor if you really need it.
yeah,
I think
I,
Muck is strong in low tier. It's kind of tough to break, especially when you have uh, two decent flying type switch-ins that switch into
ground moves. Yeah,
ground moves pretty well.
They both will scare out ground types for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's a good team. I would put it in the upper half of tier 2.
I think it's
I think
better than Vinny's and below Obese.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like
It might be.
I like it.
I think I put her right below me because like I think
Yeah.
her team does what my team does, but my team just does it better.
Yeah, your team is more condensed, and if once Frostmoth and I think Vulpix can have a place, but not a good one.
Yeah,
But once
just,
Frostmoth is gone, the team just gets better.
I mean, Vulpix is just there to set screens, and like it's
exactly
not good enough.
Yeah, it's
like go grab
like
Vanillux, go grab Mega Bomb Snow doesn't matter because you're not getting 8-turn screen, but
normal Obama Snow even though.
Yeah, I mean that one's picked up already. No, did Skoz dropped it, didn't he?
Yeah, it got dropped. So normal Obama Snow at 9, and Vulpix from Frostmoth for it is just condensing their roles.
Yeah, you can just drop them. You drop those two for Obama Snow and be fine.
I think yeah. I under your team above Obese is exactly where I would put it.
Yeah. Okay, your team. Where's the time?
No comment. Best team in the league.
I mean, yeah, we already kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
Your team is cracked. Like you got one really bad weakness in ground, and you got both guys that are just gonna have levitate the whole time.
Yep.
So
well, one's forced onto it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also like one of the ground weaknesses don't matter because it's Glimmet. That guy's weak to everything.
Yeah. He's weak to getting killed.
Yeah.
He's weak to getting hit by any moves.
Pretty much.
As long as it's not a poison move.
And then, I mean, you got Haxers. That's probably a top 3,
one of the
top
best
5.
mons.
Yeah, it's one of the best mons in the league.
Yep. I agree. I got a lot of options. I really like it.
Your speed stats are great.
Yep.
Not a huge drop off in stats. Like even like Scrafty can be hidden like a secret boss. Scrafty has so much utility. You can be a Spadef set with Shed Skin, Rest, Intimidate, whatever the fuck you need.
Yeah. It's a scary team. Got
probably
good special attackers, good physical attackers, good defense.
Like even Monkey Dory, you're gonna probably bring both of those a lot. If you don't need the toxic on random mons, you can bring Frisk and know what item they are, and that's fantastic.
Very valuable. Yeah. Speed tier's not crazy bad. Mudsdale's a good switch in mon.
Mudsdale's busted.
Mudsdale's crazy good.
I'm not a fan of Oinkoloin. I don't know what this guy's coverage. I mean, I think it's just bad greed in it, from my knowledge.
You're correct, but it's cheaper greeding.
Yeah. Probably should put greeding lower.
With thick fat.
Yeah, having a thick fat guy is pretty good. So like, it's just like, what's the mon? What's the term? It's just bad Snorlax. There we go.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's lower tier Snorlax because again, it's got Terra. Yeah, I agree.
Good enough.
But it's probably the weakest mon on the team. Probably a lot of good 6-point
I'd probably
options.
say Musharna is because Musharna is not great. This guy's gonna be support most of the time.
He's got a lot of.
You get Moonlight. That's not bad.
Moonlight, you get Moonblast, you get
Heal
Calm Mind, Stored Powers, you get reflect, light screen. You get support
T-Wave,
moves with
yeah.
trick room, toxic, T-wave.
Yeah, it's good
Like it
enough.
has a lot of options.
Yeah, it's good enough. We don't need to talk much about it. We already said when we started
Oh,
talking.
huge true.
So we're going to get on to Skoz.
Uh, Probably one of the next solid teams. Um, it's a 9-mon team. Sadly,
Yeah, unfortunately, Redicate's fucking dog shit.
yeah, doesn't really exist on the team.
Yeah.
But the I'd say the big, not big issue. I wouldn't say it's like a huge problem, but not having a good fire switch in besides
Pert?
Arcanine. I mean, Pert, yeah, you've
Yeah.
got Pert, but
Yeah, it's his only other fire switch in is thick, fat Eradicate, and that guy's never coming.
that's yeah, he's not showing up. But like your options are limited for fire switch-ins, which
Yeah.
makes it easy to predict. Um, Same thing as like we kind of said earlier, ghost type move, big ghost type
Yeah.
move just kind of hits the team.
Yeah, he has no good ghost switch ins outside of a guy who's never coming because Eradicate's bad.
Yeah. Yep. But other than that, I mean, it's solid. It's a good
Yeah.
team. It's got good speed. It's got good physical attack. Got good special.
Yeah, he does have good special.
He's got a he's got
Honestly, he's got a good hazard stack.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Good hazards.
His
Got
turners
good-
are just the birds and Eradicate. I
Yeah.
forgot. I guess you got flip turn too.
Yeah.
So he has good ways to set up like Arcanine getting in or Gudra.
Yeah. Options to get rid of hazards as well with
It's just
defog
it's rapid
and
spin and
spin.
defog. And Braviary, I can promise you, doesn't like running defog.
It does not, no. But it's the option is there at least.
Yeah, if you really need it, which usually you're probably not going to bring it. It's going to be Life Orb, Sheer Force most of the time because Tintin Lens in draft is not good enough.
Yeah.
Like Esper Wing's cool, but I don't think it matters. You can just click agility and then start breaking teams with Sheer Force Life Orb if you want to sweep somebody.
I think in low tier, Tinted Lens has its uses though. I feel like there's some teams that you could bring Tinted Lens and be fine with.
But I feel like if you're bringing Tinted Lens and you can just bring Sheer Force and Life Orb, and then the guys that are going to switch into Psychic and Fire or Psychic and Flying, you just hit with a Fire move anyways, or a Ghost move and do more damage.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Because you got Sheer Force, Heat Wave, and Shadow Ball, which
Sheer Force Shadow Ball with Life Orb, yeah, is kind of big. Yeah, I agree. I think it's strong. It's just a strong team.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
I'd say he lacks like good recovery, because like he only has Wish, like all his defense, like his Wish and Strength Sap on 2 dudes, and then like you can whittle his walls down really easily.
Yeah, and I mean he's got Kilowattrel and he's got Scolipede for speed, but I mean the rest of the fast guys aren't. I don't know. Arcanine's another like probably his best physical mon on the team, but your next best physical mon being like Scolipede or Bramblegast, those guys are like crazy good, especially with Scolipede not being able to use the speed boost.
Yeah, if he had speed boost, he would be crazy because he has Sword Stance, so it's a good breaker.
Yeah. I mean the two physical guys are just very predictable in like what sets they're running, and then Crab
has a bunch of
slow.
Like, he's slow, but like he's gonna get his one.
Yeah, he's gonna get his one. He's gonna trade, but I just feel like it's good. I don't think it's a tier 1 team. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if it's better than Bob's team or not.
I don't think it is. I think it's worse than Obese's.
I think it's worse than Obese's team too.
Better than Vinny's. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like it has. Like I'm looking for. I can hit Ghost move into the whole team, but again, I don't think it's a team that is inherently one glaring weakness that I want to.
Yeah, it's that defense stat. That's the glaring weakness. His highest defense stat is Gudra.
True.
At 100. So, like, his switch-ins to strong physical mons are not there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're
And I
right.
think I think that is worse than having a bad special defense stat because at least Spadef you can just slap an AV on a guy and be fine.
But with physical defense, it's tougher.
You
Yeah,
can't.
I agree. Okay, yeah, that's something I didn't think about.
So I think it's better than Vinny's, but I think it's worth because like it's kind of like Obese's where you have like a bunch of guys you can just do stuff with.
Yeah, I think if I compare it to the rest of the league, I would agree with you. If I'm looking at it in a vacuum, I think it's a little higher up, but just
Yeah,
because a lot of the physical mons we've seen in the rest of the league.
yeah. You got Machamp, Crook on my
Yeah,
team. And then you have like
Crook's big, Machamp, Saraledge.
Ledge, Me and Show, Rage
Yeah,
Drago,
I mean even like
Cleavor, Infernape.
even like putting Tangrowth into this team is
Yeah,
kind of scary with the, knockoffs and shit like that. Yeah, it's yeah. I would say, I don't know. I think it's a little better than Obese's team. The defense weakness though. I could see it going either way.
yeah. Look at Obese's team again
Because like Obese just has a lot of
I don't know.
options, but
I'm
the
a big
team
fan of
itself.
having a bunch of options. Like you can kind of predict about every set these guys are gonna bring. You can kind of predict some of these guys. Like this guy's always gonna be offensive. He's like he could be like annoying support, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think having a bunch of guys that are
The,
versatile in draft and are hard to prep for is better than just
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You've won me over. A lot of these mons are very one note. They do one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with like the two Hisuians with Arcanine and
Yeah.
Braviary
Same with all
and
three
Swampert.
Hisuis. All three
And
Hisuis do
yeah.
the same. Like they have their one job.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of get
And Sylveon can
creative
kind of
with
go.
yeah. You can kind of get creative with Gudra with like curse sets or iron press sets if you really
But
think it's good. But and like Sylveon's always gonna be like a cleric set in that deck because you get heal bill.
yeah, all of his mons that have a bunch of like potential options are all lower tier. So yeah, I agree.
Like Bert
It
also has some
seems.
versatility because he can be defensive or he can be that offense guy you need if you
Yeah.
feel like you need it.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I think just that defense and then all being very. It's a very predictable team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. I would put Obeses above it.
Okay, now we got Hawker.
Yeah.
It's way better than what he got drafted originally. I can tell you that much.
That's true. That's true. It's definitely a better team. A little ground weak. I think that's
Oh, he's hella ground
one
weak. Holy shit.
one big thing. And then the same thing we've been saying with every other team. Ghost being able to just hit everything on the team
Yeah, he
is
has no ghost resist. What are his
yeah,
Terras?
uh Surfetched, Swalot,
Yeah.
Dusclops.
And none of the Terras help him with ghost.
So
Um,
it's
yeah, I don't know.
but other than that, like it's strong. It's got a lot of strong options. Thunderous is
Great
obviously
mon.
a scary great mon. But with your weakness on your team being ground and
That's your
your
only.
biggest special attacker being electric is
Oh my.
makes it tougher to deal with ground. Like ground is just such a big like easy thing to run into this team. It
Yeah.
doesn't even need to be ground type. It just has to be ground moves. Anything that like you're gonna press ground move, you're gonna switch into Thunderous,
And then what do you do now?
then well, yeah, what do you do? Like
Switch.
Grass Knot, but
I say most people that are clicking Earthquake are probably still not weak to Grass Knot. Because like you can just have a fighting type that's gonna click the Earthquake on somebody.
yeah, and
like
I
most
mean
fighting types get
Prankster
good
T
coverage
Wave.
to yeah. So most fighting types have good coverage to hit all of his guys really well.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to set those up.
It's it's got some weaknesses. I think like I said that Slowbro, Thunderous, and Whim are really your only special attackers on the team.
I mean, yeah, technically, because like Wim has good special coverage, but it has the 5th highest special attack stat.
Yeah,
Below
but it's
Copperaja.
it's not a physical attacker. Is my big
it's
thing
not.
with Whim. And I mean Entei has
90 special. So you like clicking. He can bring a random overheat to like hit a guy if he really needs it to.
That's not expecting it, but
It's not.
I mean,
great. I think it's.
I
I think it has
I
like some
put
of
a
the same issues with like Vinny's. For like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he has the same issue as Vinny because Vinny's just struggles with wall breakers, but he has the wall breakers.
I look at this team, and once Thunderous is gone, how do you beat a bulky water? I just don't see it. Like
It's
you
just
you
Wim.
put it,
You have to hope Wim can do it, and
and I mean,
Wim's
if
not breaking a
I
lot of
have a
guys.
poison move,
Yeah.
then which like a Swampert in front of this team, what do? You because you just poison jab the Wim
Yeah.
on a good read, and then the team's dead. So
Pretty much.
it's a little bit of a glaring weakness, but a lot of these mons can show up. I think Swalot, obviously it being 1 point.
And his hazard removal.
And,
it's not 1
yeah.
point. This list didn't update when I changed his point total. It's 3 points.
Okay, but still.
And like his hazard removal is also terrible. None of those guys want to run defog.
Yeah, I mean
like,
Whimsicott.
Wim will probably be forced to run it,
but the rest of them don't. Like
yeah.
You don't want Thunders with defog. You don't want Survivors with defog.
If Thunders is your defogger, then you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah, which makes the team a little more predictable. Yeah, but there's some good options on the team. Like you've got good switch-ins for the most part on defense and special defense.
Yeah.
You've got Claude on the team, which is good for the water.
Two good defense guys with Claude and Slowbro.
Yeah, which forms a pretty decent core.
I think
Slowbro is going to be pulling a lot of weight on the team as well.
Yeah, I think Copperjaw can also be a lot of whatever the fuck you need him to be. His item versatility is great.
Yeah, for sure. He's got a lot of options. Especially he's just kind of a sleeper good mon.
Yeah.
And then Dusclops too is like being able to frisk out, having a switch in that can also frisk anything on the team that can then Terra into, whatever you kind of need it to do. Is pretty solid, and it's got good like support stuff, especially being a taunter. It's good. It's just got some good mons. I don't like it the best, but
honestly, I think it's better than Vinny's. And if we agree to put it above Vinny, I think we move Vinny down a tier.
I agree, yeah, because I feel like there's just so many teams that we're putting above Vinny.
Yeah, we've pretty much every team we've looked after Vinny, we put above him. So
yeah,
I think that just means he's not cut for tier 2.
Yep, I agree.
Then we got Rubedo. I really don't like his team a lot because like it is kind of doing what Obese's team is doing, but significantly worse.
Yeah.
So like I think like these last 4 guys don't need to be here. Like Togedemaru's good, obviously. Like you can keep him on the team, but like anything he's gonna do, Pikachu's gonna do a million times better.
100%. Oh yeah. I mean, like Togedemaru just seems like a mon that you just kind of tacked onto the team.
Yeah. I think he just drafted 12 guys to have 12 guys.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of overlap too with, like Brelomamungus having the grass overlap, and then Gyarados Seismitoad with the water overlap for like physical water mons. And
oh my god, his special attack stats are terrible.
Yeah, that was my next. I mean,
technically he has Pikachu. Pikachu's special attack stats like 400 something because of Light Ball. So it's not as bad as we think it is. Because it's just 198.9 doubled.
Which is good, but
like that's 2 special attackers.
2 special attackers is not really enough.
Yeah.
And it definitely doesn't seem like it needs to be 12 mons. I feel like you can condense a lot of this team.
Yes. Like you can keep Togedemaru, you drop Cutiefly and Ninjask and Frogadier and just pick up some better guys. Like I don't think you need a Mungus on the team really. Like a Mungus is gonna do everything that Breloom's gonna do, pretty much, outside of being a fat regen guy. I do like the Umbreon regen or Umbreon Mungus core.
I was gonna say get rid of Breloom instead.
Yeah, I don't think you need Breloom because like everything Breloom is gonna do is just not there because Gyarados and Gallade just do it better.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, Gallade does literally everything better. You've got better fighting moves. You've got Leaf Blade. I'm pretty sure with sharpness hits harder than
Seed Bomb.
Unless you're specifically loaded dice bullet seed. But
I'll say because Gallade's Leaf Blade is 135, and I guess technically his grass stab is stronger because Seed Bomb would be 160 with stab.
But like,
it's like he's breaking waters better, but like it doesn't.
But then Galid has fighting and the specifically psychic type coverage too. So like, and then a fourth move slot. I just feel like Breloom doesn't really need to be here at all.
Because everything he's gonna do is just replaced by Gyarados, Amoonguss, Galid.
Yeah. And so I feel like it's got. It doesn't seem too strong. I don't want to say it. It almost seems like another tier 4 team just because I'm not seeing anything on the team that I'm like scared of.
There's nothing scary because like everything that's scary has to set up first.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup and it's not a lot of
like his
wall
speeds,
break.
Technically, he has the biggest speed stat difference because it's 160 to 97.
Technically, but
like it's Ninjask. It's the fastest guy on the sheet.
Yeah,
like your fastest guy outside of Ninjask being Frogadier at 97 is not great.
And Frogadier being it like a 3-point mon, yeah. Your fastest real mon is Moltres and Pikachu, and I feel like it's just got no identity, and it's like once with this team, if you get behind, you're dead. Like you're just done.
Yeah, there's no way you can come back unless you get like really lucky and they play better on Gyarados.
Yeah.
Or like Galid.
Yep, both. You get it. You can get it if you get a setup move on one of those. You're good. But then if they have like an unaware mon, like the same, unaware mon just kind of sits in front of a lot of.
There's pretty much every unaware mon got drafted.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be good. They're gonna be used so
a lot.
I want to put it in tier 3. I really do, but it seems tier 4. It seems like top of tier 4.
I think it's worse than the other two.
Yeah.
Because it's just he wants to have 12 mons. Like I understand he just drafted to have fun, but yeah, its viability compared to everyone else's is not great.
Yeah, I think it could surprise us in some ways.
Yeah,
but
depending on what he builds.
It just seems like there's a lot of mons doing the same job as other mons, and I feel like it just needs to be condensed and it can move up a couple tiers. Like you make 2 or 3 trades and it can move up easily to like tier 2. But, yeah, definitely worse than I think probably the worst team so far.
Yeah, I think it's not great. Okay, now we're on to Hammerfall.
Hammerfall. It's a good team.
It's better now that he made changes. Like it is a 8-mon team, as always.
Yeah, but a good 8-mon team.
Dirge is gonna do one thing, so you can know what's gonna happen. Mousehold's gonna do one thing, so you know what's gonna happen. Raikou is going to do one thing, so you know what's going to happen. Slowking is going to do one thing, so you know what's going to happen. Araquanid has versatility. It can be a special attacker. It can be indoor endeavor. It has sticky webs. It doesn't need sticky webs. He's great. He's going to bring sticky webs a lot. Diggersby can do whatever the fuck he wants. He needs him to do that week. Diggersby's a fantastic mon.
Yeah. But like Diggersby's Diggersby and Mousehold are your only physical mons.
And his attack stat is the lowest in the league. Like granted, Diggersby doesn't matter because it's doubled, but like that's your
fake.
only guy. Then you have Mousehold at 75.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fine team. Like I don't really like it. I can see options. It's just predictable. It's very physically weak. There's almost too much setup or too much support on the team.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's the worst team in the league, but I'm struggling between tier 3 and 4.
I think it's a tier 3 team.
Yeah. I
think it's
worse than Vinny's.
Yes, it's as I say. I think it's not a tier 4 because yes, it is. They're all one-dimension mons. They all do the same thing.
But they're good
enough.
Yeah.
So
it's like a good OU team, but.
Yeah. Also, his only hazard setter being like it says he has 3 hazard setters, but like Diggersby's never bringing spikes. He's never bringing Clefairy, so it's just Toadscruel.
Yeah.
And Toadscruel becomes the slowest mon the moment you click spikes.
Yep. And like Wo-Chan on the team, I think that one needs to be traded because
I mean, I
you,
like the Wochi and Skeletors core. I just think he kind of flubbed the rest of his draft after he got sniped a couple times.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. It's a good core, but you just U-turn and then like having that momentum on
Yeah,
like Wo-Chien is just such a momentum like vampire.
pretty
You
much.
switch it in to like anything,
Momentum
and
sap.
then it just your momentum just halts. I feel like you would have to trade one of these other mons to get that momentum back, and like you don't want to trade away your two only physical mons. You need a good electric type with Raikou. You need Slowking. I just feel like the core is a good core, just not on this team.
Yeah.
But I think it's tier 3. I would put it.
I think it's below Vinny's.
I would put it. Yeah, I was gonna say better than Puck's team for sure.
Yeah.
Worse than Vinny's team, I think. Because Vinny's team is still decent.
All right, now we can figure out what people need to be doing with trades.
Should we just go bottom up?
Yeah, we could do bottom up if we want. I was gonna just do top bottom again.
Oh, that works
It
too.
doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess we're already down here. I don't.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Hammerfall can't even really make. He's already made some trades, and I don't think he can make any more.
Yeah.
Because with his point distribution, there's not much
hard.
he can do.
Yeah. I think Raikou could be swapped for like a fast physical electric type, but I don't know. I don't see one.
There's like nothing there. I don't think you swap
Yeah.
Raikou. I don't think Raikou's this mon you swap.
I feel like you need better physical mons, and I'm looking on what can be dropped. I think you've got to, in this case, do the opposite, unconsolidate, and like, get a good 9-point mon and then a good 5-point mon that can fill some of the gaps or something.
Yeah.
Dropping because I think Wo-Chien is easily the weakest mon on this team.
I think it is the mon he drops, but it's his green goblin mask. He loves that mon.
Yeah, I want to use it, but yeah, it's just tough. It's a tough team to fix.
So, like, if we do drop it, what could he replace Wo-Chien even for?
That's a good question.
Say I like Shaman a lot over it if he wants to keep the grass type on there.
Yeah. Shaman's decent. Dropping a 14-pointer. I don't think Serena's horrible on this team. Gives you physical mon, gives you some prio switch-ins, keeps that grass typing, but you're kind of bulky. Benefits decently well from webs, being able to outspeed stuff.
That's true.
It gives you, you don't, not that you need another special switch in, but it's then your second highest physically defensive mon. You're still a little weak to the U-turn, but you keep, the ability to U-turn back and to
not be a momentum sap, because that's like the issue with Torkoal in draft.
Yeah,
Torkoal does
exactly.
That
Yep. So Serena's a good pickup, I think, on the team. I like Toad Scroll, I do, but I feel like you could swap it for a different Terramon. Just because, again, on this team, I feel like you don't. Oh, I feel like Toad Scroll can be swapped for like something. But
yeah, I mean,
it's hard to.
It's kind of tough to even drop Toad Scroll because he doesn't have any hazard setters after that.
Yeah, but
like
I mean, you swap it for a different hazard setter though, and.
Well, yeah, because like he's like, oh, people are gonna start running Rocky Helmet over boots. I'm like, with what hazard setters? You're not stopping anyone from running Rocky Helmet to stop mouse hold.
Yeah.
Like Toad Scroll doesn't like clicking. He can't click hazards. He doesn't like to. Because he becomes the slowest mon in the game.
Which makes it tough.
See, I think just dropping Woach for something better.
It's
probably
I mean, but it's the best play, but it doesn't make the team.
It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't move the needle. I just think
like
he just got fucked on snipes and didn't really like fix well. And he loves to do the
Yeah.
eight man draft team, which is he likes to do it that way. He can do it that way. He can
Yeah.
also just
Well,
prove us wrong and make the team look good when he uses it. But we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a team that can definitely do some outplays, but it's just too one note for me. Like it's every mon's always going to do the same thing every week, and it's an 8-mon team already. So I know you said Raiko's not the drop, but like 19 points is a lot to be able to fix this team. You could pick up, you drop that, you drop Mienfu and Clefairy, and you have 21 points to fix the team.
Then you have to pick up 3 mons across 21 points.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's averaging seven
right.
points across 3 dudes.
I mean, even then though, you drop Mienfu and 20 points is enough to
I think he
split
dropped
between 2 mons.
Clefairy and Raiko if you drop 2 of them. I think Mienfu at least could come. Because it still has regen. It's just baby Mien show. That guy runs Little Cup.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he does. You're right, but
so like he at least has some merit to being brought, depending on the.
I feel like anything you want to bring Mienfu with, you just Diggersby does.
I mean, exactly. But that's just the way he sets up his teams.
That's why I think Mienfu just doesn't. I think Clefairy has options with like it being magic guard, switching into some status moves.
Yeah, I just think Clefairy is setup fodder. They click substitute on you. You can't break the sub, and they start setting up behind the sub.
Yeah.
So, at least with Mienfu, he can break the sub unless you're like a fairy or a poison type.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you're right, but you're getting set up, and then you have Skeledirge to kind of counteract that. And I feel like you've got.
It depends on what's setting up. If it's something that Skeledirge doesn't like, then Skeledirge isn't coming in and stopping it.
But that just seems like a very specific example, and I feel like you could pick something up that would do the same job.
Pretty much.
So that's why I think just getting rid of both and then picking up a different 1-pointer, even maybe.
I don't think there's many 1-pointers you can even replace with Clef and Mienfu.
I mean,
I think
there's
Murkrow's down there. I think Murkrow's really good.
Yeah.
His Prankster, you got Krakatoon down there, which he already has a Sticky Webber, so it doesn't matter for his team.
Yeah. Whiskash is a mon.
It is a hazard setter.
Yeah. I mean, just going up a tier 2 to tier 2s, swap your 2 tier 1s for a tier 2 mon.
You still need another mon. He's got 10 guys.
Oh, you're right. Well, that's why I'm saying like unconsolidate some of these guys. Yeah. It's a tough team to fix. I think Wo Chen being dropped for something and like I said, picked up for Serena would be like a good start to make the team more versatile. But
we've been yapping on this guy long enough.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it like you just bring a ghost type and you hit everything on the team. Yeah. Anyway, tough team to fix.
Yeah.
But fixable.
So I think
with a lot of trades.
So we kind of hit most of Rubedo's fixes when we talked about his team.
Yeah. Get rid of Breloom.
Get rid of Breloom, drop Frogadier, Ninjask, and Cutie Fly.
Yeah.
If you can also drop Togedemaru if you really want to keep it. And then that gives you, 30 points across 3 guys you need?
Yeah.
Which is really, makes your team way better.
Yeah, significantly better. I feel like you just need to do some consolidating.
Yeah.
Pick up like an offensive dark type and you're starting to do a little better.
That offensive dark type is not Zoroark. That is not the pickup.
Yeah, not that one.
I'm just going to say that now, if he listens to this.
In case he sees it, not that one.
Moltres is good. Mega Houndoom is still available.
Yeah. I like Moltres. Moltres Galar.
Unfortunately, he can't run both Moltres on the same team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is then you'd have to get rid of the other one.
Yeah. He can have them, he can have them on the same draft list, he just can't bring them both at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think Showdown has a species clause.
Obstagoon is fine. It's a solid mon and gives you a good ghost resist.
Yeah, he doesn't. It gives you a ghost immunity. It also makes ghost types have to be afraid of you.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say.
Yeah. He's also
Um,
like fighting types are not good into his team either way. So
yeah, with Moltres being there too,
yeah,
and then Amoonguss, and then yeah. So I feel like picking up something like an Obstagoon, like I said, an offensive Dark type would do this team pretty well, and that one seems like
yeah.
a solid one.
So does that
If
means
you need a
18
special
left?
attacker, like you said, uh, Houndoom, solid one.
Yeah. Houndoom's coverage is
Um,
unfortunately pretty weak, but it's still a high
yeah.
special attack stat, and it's pretty fast.
Yep. Yeah. If you get rid of normal Moltres Galar is a really solid mon to put on this
Yeah,
team. I
I would
think
do a
too.
1-for-1 swap with those two if you do
Yeah.
drop Moltres. I like Moltres, regular
I
Moltres
think
more.
yeah, normal Moltres is good, but like again, you need a special attacker on this team, and you need a dark type on this team, and so I'm trying to find something that can kind of do both.
I say with Obstagoon, we already fixed the ghost issue mostly,
Yeah.
and at that point you have what 18 points left of what the 30 we were making.
18. Hold on. So 15.
15 and a 15. You remove those bottom four guys,
Yeah, so
which is
15 and
15.
15, and then you pick up Obstagoon for 12,
Leaves you with 18 across
28,
two.
18 points, which is, yeah, doable. I mean, um, you drafted it last time, but Inteleon and then pick up a 5-pointer or a 3-pointer wouldn't be bad for like strong water move. Uh,
Yeah.
you've
I'm looking at
got
3-pointers. You got like Volibee and all the Wormadams. Wormadams aren't great though.
yep. You've got Porygon, but then you're kind of no, Porygon's not bad because you don't. Again, same thing. Fighting's not a huge thing into your team. So Porygon
Yeah.
2, I mean, um, decent special attack, decent bulk, hard to break. And you've got a lot of mons that are fine taking a knockoff. You've got options. I think Obstagoon's a good start. I think any special attacker once you get rid of Breloom, if you don't want to trade the bottom four, Breloom for a special attacker is where you should start.
Yeah.
And then those bottom four for a physical attacker and another support mon, and the team's infinitely better after that.
Yeah, I agree. Hawker. I think
Tough
he
one.
he pretty much got shafted in draft because
Yeah.
he wasn't there to draft for him, and then he didn't. I don't know what the issue was. I think Obese said he didn't have a lot of information on what he wanted, and he also got sniped a lot too. I know he wanted Infernape.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
I think he's fixed what he can. I don't think there's many things we can fix about the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still some room for improvement. Get a stronger special attacker
Oh yeah, that's true.
for
Like
one
I
of
think,
your 10 physical or your 6 physical guys,
yeah, I think maybe
or like trade one of your weaker ones like
I think
Whimsicott for.
I was gonna say dropping Tyrantrum or maybe Entei, depending which way route he wants to go, can be a good start.
Yeah. In my head, I think Tyrantrum's the one you drop. I don't really like Entei as well, but I think Entei can do
Yeah, he has
a little more than Tyrantrum can.
He has enough merit to where you have like E-Speed and strong fire moves. Strong fire moves are always good.
Yeah, and the option to always hit a special attack move and still be okay.
Yeah.
Whereas Tyrantrum is just gonna be. I mean, you're probably pretty much always gonna want that thing either scarfed or banded.
Yeah, it's gonna be a head smash bot, and if he also can click D-Dance depending on what scenario you're in. Like he could be a late game D-Dancer. If he had webs on this Tyrantrum, I think Tyrantrum would be the keep, but he doesn't have webs.
Yeah, no webs means I think you get rid of Tyrantrum. You've got 14 points over to work with for a special attacker, and
yeah, what special attackers
there's I was gonna say there's some decent options. I don't think picking up like a Noivern wouldn't be that bad.
Oh, Noivern's available.
Noivern's
snag that
14. Gives you a Draco, which keeps that dragon type on your team. Gives you a ground resist or immunity in this case.
Yeah.
Boom burst. Like Noivern fills a lot of holes on the team. Gives you a fast guy that you kind of makes your team a lot faster.
is also a good shout because like it is just worse Nidoking.
But it's still,
Yeah. I still think it has enough merit because like it's still doing a lot of damage. Like I understand it's like an 80 something special attack stat, but sheer force plus life orb is just really good.
Yep.
75 with the
Yeah, I
special
agree.
attack stat, and it's just coverage is just really good. Like you're clicking you're clicking earthquake and almost poison like fire blast
Yeah,
on
I
a
think
bunch of mons.
Nidoqueen. The only problem is just it makes your team
Yeah.
so weak to ground. Like your team's
Yes.
already weak to ground, and you
That is fair.
really don't want to add another ground weakness.
That is very fair. So yeah, Noivern is definitely the better pickup.
Noivern, I feel like. I mean, there's also a really good case. I know we just mentioned it, but for Moltres, um,
G, yeah.
Moltres Galar gives you another ground immunity, gives you a actual ghost type resist, gives you a special attacker. Um,
I will say I
it-
think Noivern's better because it has more versatility because it does like running like random support sets. It can be defensive because flying is a great defensive typing,
yeah,
and it's like hard to
I,
prep around. Like with Galar, you're
I,
pretty much guaranteed to fight like Resto, Chesto, Dual Dance almost. Not
yeah,
exactly
but
that, but like
like
that's
I
pretty
said
much
though,
what happened.
no, having Noivern means again you're still ghost types, just kind of like a fast special ghost
Yeah,
type just kind of runs through your team. So I think there's merit for both. I think Noivern or Moltres Galar both would do decent on this team. Um, for Tyrantrum specifically,
you could also swap
uh,
Whim
that was gonna my other
for
thing
something.
was
Whim's not great on this team. Like everything Whim's
yeah
gonna do, Thunderous is doing already.
yeah
You want to
two
prankster? You
prankster
want to
mons.
prankster T wave? Oh, that's Thunderous. You got prankster Stun Spore on the other guy.
But
Like
then
it's a
you're
good fairy
dropping
type, but
you're dropping your only um, defogger.
well, Noivern would have defog, and as
True.
Noivern doesn't mind running it because he only clicks Draco Hurricane U-turn anyways.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean Moltres and then Noivern for Whim, or just switching Whim for Noivern. I feel like both are good pickups and both are good drops.
yeah,
Obviously, I think Clodsire, Slowbro, Thunderous need to stay. Dusclops is crazy for a 3-pointer. I think
yeah.
Entei's good on the team too. Um, I think you drop one of those and pick up a good special attacker.
I will
And
say Tyrantrum is definitely worse at the job of being a physical attacker than Surfetch because Surfetch has Terra and Scrap
yeah,
Beam.
exactly.
So
Yep,
Tyrantrum's
yep.
job is just like, oh, I can be a Scarf lead and click rocks if I need to, or head smash what's in front of me, and then that's like all he's gonna do about like every game.
Or outrage in case you
Yeah,
need it. But yeah, it's tough. I feel like Tyrantrum's the drop, and then Whim's the next on the chopping block because
yeah,
Copperajah, same thing, is pretty decent.
yeah.
Good steel typing on the team.
Because
So
like
that's
Tyrantrum's
what I would try.
coverage is just overshadowed by Copperajah's Surfetched.
Yeah, not a lot of jobs that it can do. So
Yeah. All
yep,
right, on to
yep.
Skoz. Um, I don't, I don't know if there's, I don't think there's many changes you can even make to fix. Like, there's obviously something. Scolipede maybe.
Yeah, Scolipede would be where my mind's at because 14 points is I mean that seems to be where everyone's at for working with, but
Yeah.
dropping Scolipede and picking up a good
A better.
physically defensive mon.
Yeah. What one
Um,
for 14 could he pick up? That's good physically
that's what,
defensive. I mean, you kind of
that's
have
what I'm
Porygon,
looking.
but like it doesn't like clicking, getting hit by fighting moves. You got
Yeah,
Doublade. Doublade's not terrible.
yeah, Double,
Escavalier
but
is an overall bulky guy. Um,
yeah, that might be better because Double the you run into the ghost type thing again. Like
yeah.
ghost type's really good. Um, I
Uh,
mean, no, not Tentacruel. Escavalier doesn't look horrible. Just makes you a little bit weaker to fire, which you don't really want on this team.
yeah. You got Bronzong, but that's more Ghost. Got Jellicent, that's more Ghost.
Yeah, you've
Technically
got like
Rhyperior.
if you go down a few points, you've got like Beware. Um, does make you a little fighting weak, and
I
it
think
does have that weakness, but
I was gonna say Mega
gives
Audino,
you
but like that just steps on Sylveon's toes, so I don't think it matters.
yeah. Then you're running into that. I just feel like you want a good physically defensive mon that can also be that ghost type weakness to cover for you not getting just fully swept by Specs Ghost type move. But again, you need a physical mon too, so it's tough. It's a tough trade to have to make. Yeah. I think if you're looking for something in the 13, 14 point range, your options are very limited. I think Double Eight is fine. I think if you go a little lower and you look in those 12-point mons, like Beware fixes Ghost type, gives you defensive, gives you even more physical offense.
Week, though.
Does give you another Fire Week. Bronzong's down there too. Bronzong's decent, but again, you run into the Ghost type problem.
Yeah. Well, how many Ghost types is he really gonna run into though?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the league, there's not that many.
There's Ceruledge.
Ceruledge.
Slan doesn't have one. Kang doesn't have one. Shrimp doesn't have one.
Shrimp's got Terra Ghost. King is gone.
He's not hitting a ghost move. I have one.
You have one with Petra.
It's 88 base special, so it's not great.
But still not having a switch into it with Nasty Plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of mons get access to Shadow Ball is my only thing. So
yeah, it's a lot of random Shadow Balls you have to worry about.
Yeah, and not having a switch in for Shadow Ball just means it's tough. So
yeah, I think he doesn't need to find a good physical guy because I think he's set on physical. So I think he could just find or like physically offensive. I don't know if you were talking about defenses.
I'm talking about defense. I'm saying like you need a good physically defensive mon.
So just dropping Scolipede is a good start. Unfortunately, he can't just drop Eradicate because he needs 10 dudes. So.
Yeah, true. Then it's just tough. It's tough to.
Yeah.
Not a lot of good physical mons up there. Kind of have to go a little lower. Or a little higher.
Yeah.
Like if you could get that 1 point, if you can maneuver it so that you can go up and get Mandibuzz. I feel like Mandibuzz.
Yeah, somehow make like a trade for Mandibuzz.
Yeah,
depending on what you can do. Like you could technically drop Bramble and Scolipede, get Mandibuzz, and then just pick up a lower guy.
Yeah, like a tier 7. And, there's some good options for tier 7s to pick up. Let's see. Big Doug, Licky Licky, Terra Berserker.
He's got Muck down there. Muck's a good 7-pointer.
Yeah, Muck would be good. You don't have a grounded poison on this team, so drop Bramble and drop Scolipede for
Muck and Mandibuzz.
Muck Mandibuzz, and it I think makes the team a little better.
Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. We'll place him right
now. I mean, three immunities to ground, 3 weaknesses. Muck can tear out of it. Muck's got, sticky hold, poison touch, poison moves.
Yeah.
Defensive.
And it makes you weak to like just rock and fairy at that point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that would be a really solid play. Give you a little more switching around potential.
Yeah.
Because like all your
really good slow turner too.
Yeah. You've got a slow turn and a fast turn, and all of your ground type switch-ins all have turn moves, so yeah, right. I think that makes the team a lot stronger.
Right onto your team? All right, onto Lily's team?
Yep, I was going to say, skip past me. Nothing you could do. Team's already perfect.
Yeah, we talked about hers a lot when we talked about her team. Dropping Ampharos and, like, the 2 ice types. Like, she could just drop those 3 and pick up 1 guy and be fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's 20 points you could pick up for 1 guy, and then the rest of the points don't matter.
Yeah. The question is, I mean, what to pick up. Yeah. What one guy?
Because like everything Ambrose is doing is like already consolidated across her team. I guess if you drop Frostmoth and Ampharos, she has only 2 really good special attackers, and one of them's EMT.
you would want a special attacker, and in that case, your options are stuff like, I mean,
Porygon, Reuniclus,
yeah,
Chandelure.
I think Porygon Z, because Porygon Z is almost always going to run Bolt Beam coverage, so you're
Yeah.
not going to have to worry about it, and that gives you that electric typing you probably need. You've got
Yeah.
agility sets, choice item sets,
Yeah.
adaptability sets. Uh, Makes you a little kind of a lot of weak to fighting, but we already kind of discussed having that ghost type
Yeah.
Terra. Um,
Yeah. It's like she just needs to have. She can probably pick up. Porygon's good, but like I think also picking up another fighting resist is probably good too.
yeah, having like just I mean at least just like a ghost type or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Or even like a fairy or a bug.
yeah,
Say resist
if you're keeping Vulpix on the team, not a lot of options.
I think there might be a couple better tier twos. I'm gonna be honest. Actually, no, we already went over this. There's no. Oh, that's tier three.
Well,
Tier three ain't
that's
got
kind
shit
of
in it.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like if you drop Vulpix and Frostmoth and Mega Ampharos, that gives you 5 points, and so like
Yeah.
Bayonet's in 5. Um, it's like a kind of a good mon to pick up. You've got
Pharaoh Seed.
Dusknor. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a great mon, but
It's just naturally
Dusknor's like
bulky.
just decent bulk. Spiritomb having that just fairy type that you've got to worry about, and then you've got good fairy type switchins already. Um,
Yeah.
Golbat a little lower.
I think a couple of good 2 point guys she could pick up is like Mine and Plusle, Dragonair. Mine and Plusle I might be too Rambats pilled, but I think Dragonair
I
is
think
really good.
maybe.
I think Dragonair is really good.
Yeah, Dragonair's a decent.
It can sneak away teams because you can just Terra normal it and then you can just start spamming E speeds with D Dance.
Yeah.
And you can't really be burned because you got shed skin.
You got it.
And Eviolite, so like you still got a lot of bulk.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dragonair's a good pickup too.
I think Reboots are a good
It's
shout for tier twos.
yeah. I just feel like like you said, we kind of want something that fixes that fighting type.
Oh yeah.
And,
for gore.
yeah, and like Swoobat would also be another good one. Gives you that psychic type you kind of need.
Yeah,
Gives
it's
you
a
a flyer.
or quad resist.
Gives you quad resist plus some setup that you can kind of steal games with, and you don't need to Terra it.
She can also find a good poison type which resists fighting.
Good poison type. Yeah.
I was gonna say she could pick up Muck, but she already has a Lola, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, makes it tougher, but like I said, Golbat would be good poison typing wise.
I think Granbull's a good 7 point guy that'll help you with your fighting type weakness. He has Intimidate.
Yeah, but where are you gonna get the 7 points from? If we're
Frostmoth.
doing something like, because like you're probably gonna want, well, yeah, but you're probably swapping Frostmoth for like a higher point.
Yeah. I was just giving if she doesn't want if she wants to keep 12 guys, I was just giving her other options if whatever
Gotcha.
she decides she wants
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. Granbull's a decent one up there. Doxpun's a decent one that's up there too for fighting resist. A lot of options. I think Frostmoth definitely needs to be dropped, and I think knowing her, Porygon Z seems pretty much up her alley. Gives you that special attacker, like I said, gives you that fast mon, and so I think that would be solid. But if you want to stay in that like just 12 point mon range, for 13 pointers and 12 pointers, you could pick up Electrode. Gives you fast electric typing.
Hisui?
Yeah. Hisuian Electrode, yeah.
And you can have some cringe ties with a Subseed.
Yeah. 2 Subseeders on the same team? That'd be crazy.
True.
Delphox is there too to give you different fire typing. More for the psychic type than anything, but I don't really like it on this team. But it's an option. Kadabra too is another psychic option. But I think consolidating points for a higher point mon would probably be better.
Yeah.
You could Mega Ampharos and Vulpix, drop them, pick up Gudra. Does everything you need it to.
Yeah.
A lot of options, a lot of different options.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Obese.
Tough one.
I think you drop Glycopod, that guy stinks. You drop Primate, that guy stinks.
Yep.
You drop Parasect, that guy stinks. I don't think we need to give him suggestions. I think he's a good enough player to figure it out on his own. He's already said he doesn't like Glycopod. He's already realized how bad Primate is, and
Parasect seems.
If he has Terra, if he can get Terra on it, it's a bit better. Because like he's still okay bulky and he has good support moves, so it's good enough.
Yeah. But he just has to get Terra on it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
It's not gonna happen. So he just needs to drop it because he has a 9 and a 6 for Terra at the moment.
Yeah. I agree. I think Glycopod and Primeape are good drops, and you can just consolidate those into
whatever you need them to do.
Yeah. I mean, just get a really good like 16-pointer.
Yeah. My team, I already know what I want to do, so I'm not gonna talk about it. We're going to Shrimp.
Right. Fair enough.
I think he just dropped Scorch. I don't think there's anything else he needs
swap
to do.
Scorch for something. I think there is a case for switching out Mantine too if you really want to, but
I think if he swaps out Mantine, what's his like Spadef looking like? He's got Comfey, which doesn't like being the solo Spadef wall. Scorch would be his other Spadef guy. So if he drops both of those, he just have to find some better Spadef walls down there. Yeah. Or like whatever random 14-pointer he can find, basically. Like good 14 Spadef guy. If he drops both of them. But I like Mantine on the team, so I think just Scorch is the drop.
Yeah. Scorch for what, though, is the question.
That is the $1 million question.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm looking at the typings, and dropping Scorch makes the team just...
Aromatisse is there. He does not have a Fat Fairy type, and Aromatisse is that.
I mean, Comfey's right there.
That thing is just clicking Calm Mind and being cringe.
Yeah.
This thing at least gets Aromatherapy, Encore, Wish. Its coverage is pretty dog shit, though. But, like...
Yeah.
It's a good shutout for a Spadef guy.
It's up there.
Draft Rig's not terrible. It's Eviolite guy with decent Spadef.
Yeah, I agree. I think like a AV Licky does the same stuff as
Licky Licky's good. Yeah, Licky's good.
Licky seems like a decent one. Yeah, you've got a lot of options that I think.
You can't really go that wrong.
And 6. Yeah, just swapping it for like pretty much anything you want is going to make the team just better on its own.
Yeah. All right, we gotta go to Kang now. I think we talked about his. We talked about his.
Yeah. Get rid of Sun, or at least get rid of.
If he wants to keep Sun, swap Lilligant for Venusaur, and then you swap Executor for something different. Because then at that point it overlaps.
I think Heliolisk too needs to get off the team. They're just such a liability.
Yeah, because he gets like hardwalled by steel types without weather if he doesn't have Arcanine or Weather Ball on.
Yeah.
Venusaur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Lilligant for something else. I think Heliolisk for something else, and the team looks a little better.
Yeah, getting rid of Heliolisk would make his ground weak not as prevalent. Does he have Terra Fly on this Lantern guy? He does not. Great. He picked up Dragon for some reason. Go ahead and swap that to Flying. There you go.
Another helpful part of the team.
Yep. And then your Vault Absorb, and then you have one weakness or two weaknesses being Rock and Ice.
Yeah.
Your team doesn't give a fuck about either of them, so...
Maybe pick up something that can get rid of hazards, too. Maybe.
Yeah, he has Defogger on Lilligant.
But if we're Lilligant 1 doesn't want to run Defog, but 2, if that's something we're swapping away.
Yes. And then he only has Spin on Quaxwell.
Which is not coming. So.
Yeah, that guy's never coming. I mean, it's a good for its poo poo ass tier in Gen 9. It's cringe. Because it's just a fat
Yeah.
Eviolite water type. But, like.
Yeah. You could pick up, like, Girder for a defogger.
Yeah.
And some decent bulk.
Good Eviolite guy.
Yeah. And if you do, like Lilligant for Venusaur, that gives you a fighting type, gives you an Eviolite guy that resists, dark typing. So you don't care as much about knockoff.
Yeah.
Fixes the team a little bit.
I don't think there's anything else we can really switch.
Yeah.
It's just Lilligant for like Venusaur. And then I think he drops Executor if he picks up Venusaur. And then he drops like Heliolisk. And then figures something out.
Yep. I think that's the best way to do it.
Hassan. There's not much you can change. Like it's doing his one cringe job.
Yeah, it's doing what it wants. I think there is a potential case for Avalugg just not being on the team.
Yeah, what Avalugg is gonna do is just replace this like every other mon does it the same.
Yeah. I feel like you can swap that for. There's a few options you could probably swap it for, but other than that, like it's just a solid team. Like you've got good type matching, you've got good bulk, you've got your cringe.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So the only big thing.
Okay, we're going on to Vinny. Just pick up a good wall breaker.
Yeah.
Because like Cleavor doesn't like to do it too often, and his coverage doesn't allow him to.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think swapping some of your lower point mons.
Yeah.
And picking up like Blissey. Like you get rid of the bottom three, you get rid of Brute Bonnet, you get rid of Knuckle Stack, you get rid of Ghastly, you pick up Blissey, gives you some extra points to work with. A 6 point Terra to work with. 6 point Terra, and the team's a little better. There's still just like a lot of weaknesses on the team that are hard to fix. But 6 point.
I do think Knuckle Stack is a drop. That guy is just set up fodder. He can't do enough.
Ghastly's fake as well.
Yeah, he's a base 100 special attack stat. That's why I put him on the list. He's like 80 speed, so like he's okay.
Yeah, he's doable, but
like you have Drifblim there, and Raichu and Articuno, which all do his job better.
Yeah.
Like if he somehow gets Terra on Drifblim, it's much better than Terra Raichu.
Yeah. I think you do bottom three for Blissey. You could like pick up Arbok for Terra with Intimidate for like some defensive coverage, or get some like reflect screen stuff up with Carbank. I don't know if I like Carbank on this team, but
I don't know if the banker's that great on his team.
Yeah.
Get some good wall breakers. Like I'm in front of kinda can wall break, but he has to be banded or specs. And it's not the best.
And it's not a great wall breaker potential.
Because like he's just clicking base 120s, which is okay.
Well, and like I said, having a special resist is gonna help a lot. Like an actual special wall.
Oh yeah. It's just
Articuno's your Kingdra being your second highest special defense is a little bit of a crime.
It's your third. Brute Bonnet's the second.
Well, that's why I'm saying get rid of Brute Bonnet.
Yeah, you just get a better Spadef guy.
Yeah, I mean you can't really go wrong for Spadef with Blissey, or even Chansey if you want, but you won't have Terra. So I think Revavroom could go as well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like everything Revavroom is gonna do. I mean, granted, it's just shift gear, but I don't know if he'll find an opportunity to.
Yeah. And then besides that, I mean, like I like Drifblim, but maybe just get rid of Articuno too, because
Yeah, Articuno's coverage isn't great, and without Terra is not the best either. If I'm being
yeah.
honest.
And I mean, with Driftblim right next to it, it is more of a liability than anything because
Yeah,
you're
they're
never
both weak
bringing
to the
both of them.
exact same things.
Yeah. And whatever you want Articuno to do, Driftblim can probably do better. So
Yep.
there's a lot of different avenues you could go down. I think the biggest one is just dropping most of those bottom guys, dropping Articuno, getting a wall breaker, and then um, the rest can kind of be like a good
Yeah.
AV mon or a good special defense pickup. Um,
On to Bob's team.
yeah.
Um. Yeah, he has the same issue as Hammerfall. Like, he forced his team to be 8 guys, so it's kind of hard to fix.
Yep.
Because like,
I agree.
I'm not a fan of Reggie Drago.
I think I'm looking at this and that's the mon I would probably
Because
drop.
like everything Reggie Drago's gonna do, Saraledge and Mienshao do better by a mile. Outside of spamming strong special dragon moves, that's all he does better than those two.
Yeah.
Which like most teams can't switch into Dragon Energy or Draco depending on what unless they have a fairy type, and then you're screwed. But
Yeah. And like the team does pretty well into fairy types, so Drago's not like horrible.
yeah,
But I feel like you just need like I see the thought process like putting up webs and then having Reggie Drago just like specs dragon move everything is possible. I feel like you just need another special defensive mon besides Prim. I feel like that's the big thing.
yeah. Saraledge being your second highest, and then the closest to Saraledge is Nidoking at 75 is insane.
Very, very tragic. I mean, it's it doesn't fix the team, but Drago for Gudra, you still have a special attacker, and then you have a massive special defensive wall.
This is very true. And Gudra's
Um,
still good in webs too, because like he has the same speed stat. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
It might be 70. It might be 70, but I think Gudra might. No, Gudra's at 80. I was correct.
yeah, Gudra's 80 as well.
Same speed stat.
Same, yeah, and
And
slightly
Gudra's
higher
coverage is
special attack.
way better. Gudra's
Yeah,
coverage is disgusting.
you
And it
could
gives
still
you a
hit those
knockoff.
big dragon moves.
Yeah. Gives you a knock
Knock
offer. Gives you a
gives
scald.
you wall. You've got
Grass
physical
immune.
defensive options. You've got grass immunity
Even
now,
though he
which
has.
not that you not
Yeah,
that you need it, but
not that you need it.
it pairs well into Prim or decently well.
And it gives. He can take
Um,
off that dog shit ass grass type. That grass terror on Wheezing because he has Sap Sipper now.
yep, yep.
Um.
That helps. Gives you more special defense, and then I feel like another thing you need is something for ghost types, which again, like I said, seems to be the case for a lot of these. But you have Saraledge, and Saraledge is probably going to be able to kill anything
Yeah, 1v1
that's hitting.
most ghost types. Just Shadow
Yeah,
Sneak
so
or Poltergeist it.
yeah, the only thing is not having a swap into it. So
Yeah.
I would like,
Not swap.
um,
He doesn't have a swap into whatever ghost move is coming off of a resist.
yeah, besides Terra Dark on
Yeah.
Weezing. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'd get rid of anything besides that. Like,
Yeah, it's
want
just Reggie
most of these
Drago.
guys.
I think everything like obviously Motham, but like you can't replace Motham with something because it's so dog shit. Those last
Yeah.
two guys are just there. At that point, you just drop both of them for 1 pointers and then just use the extra
If you
3 points to make something better.
But what would be better?
Reggie Drago, figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Reggie Drago for Gudra, and then like maybe Motham for a 1 pointer and Weezing for like a 6 point Terra.
Yeah.
But I think Weezing's fine on the team, so
Yeah, Weezing's good. It's just Weezing and Fortress do the exact same thing.
that's kind of where my I mean, there's some funny stuff you could probably do. With
Also,
each
his
of those
hazard
guys.
removal is just Fortress. Granted, Fortress is coming every week, but he doesn't have any removal past that.
Yeah.
So
Which makes it predictable.
it's tough for him.
Tough. I think that's where you start though, is I think you
Yeah.
do you think you do Drago for Gudra if anything. And then from there, and it doesn't have to be Drago for Gudra. Like there's some decent 15-point options.
Yeah.
If you can get to it first, Mandibuzz is decent. Some 14-point options as well.
Yeah.
Not many actually. But That just seems to be the most straightforward way to fix things.
Yeah, you just
I
keep
think you
the
could. I
same.
think you need whatever you do. If you do swap like your bottom Terra, like Weezing, I think a dark type would help this team a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good psychic switch in,
Yeah.
or a good flying switch in, or a good like he has one ground switch in,
Yeah.
no ghost switch ins. Like those are a lot of things he has to fix, but you can't really fix that in low tier. So it's kind of hard to fix a lot of weaknesses. I think you just
Yeah.
gotta play around it better. All right,
Yep.
we're done here. Goodbye.